Did you get any
receipt? Hapana.
Was there any acknowledgement?
Even the rest walikuwa hapo si.
Kwani nyinyi mnahusika na hii kesi?
Mtu akikuitisha hongo tafadhali ripoti kwa ofisi za EACC na tuko na toll free number 1551.
Anti-corruption.
Si anti-corruption.
Huyu mzee hana huruma
na watu kama.
Mimi simulisema nikuje niongee.
Mnachukua hiyo nafasi mnaenda kulagai watu.
Kesi hii imekuja wakati mzuri kwa maana wiki ijayo tunasherehekea tarehe 9 Disemba tunasherehekea International Anti-Corruption Day.
Na nyinyi vijana, wakati mwingine mkisikia kuna kazi imetangazwa na serikali, mfuate ile njia inatakikana. Unasikia?
The government of Kenya is determined to bring to an end this gender-based violence.
We must act swiftly and decisively to protect the lives and the dignity of every woman and girl in Kenya.
Mamlaka ya ukusanyaji ushuru nchini inakuletea kampeni ya umma ya G-Nice na Risiti Legit. Thibitisha risiti yako ukitumia app ya Risiti Legit, upate nafasi ya kuibuka mshindi wa zawadi kemkem kama vile shilingi milioni 1 pesa taslim, laptops, televisheni ya inchi 50, smartphones na zawadi zingine. Disemba tarehe 4, siku ya Jumatano, kutana na msafara wetu Homa Bay katika maeneo ya Oyugis, Rangwe, Rodi, Nthiwa, Sori, Kendu Bay, Homa Bay Town na Mbita. Alhamisi tarehe 5 Disemba tutakuwa Kisii, maeneo ya Kisii Town, Ogembo, Suneka, Kanyenya, Nyamache, Marani, Masimba na Keumbu. Pata app ya Risiti Legit kwa Google Play Store au App Store kwa maelezo ya kuingia katika mashindano ya Risiti Legit. G-Nice na Risiti Legit. KRA, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
I always wanted to study. I didn't have money. Thanks to eCitizen, I conveniently applied for help. Now I'm in my second year. A doctor in waiting.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, tonight we will start by taking you to Kilifi, where President William Ruto toured and took advantage of the opportunity to break it down to Kenyans and assure them on the Social Health Authority. I have the details for you. And in business, we'll be talking about enhancing international diplomacy. O'Brien Kimani has in studio Ambassador Paul Ndungu. He is the Foreign Service Academy Director. And in sports, Yala Games 2024 and much more. But first, let's have the highlights.
I want to assure the country that the challenges of fraud and corruption that had bedeviled the NHIF, they will never be, as so long as I am in charge, they will never be in our universal health coverage plan.
Unlike NHIF, SHA will not be crippled by graft. President William Ruto assures.
Those ones that did not meet were the ones that were informed individually by report that if you do not rectify, you will not open in January as a boarding, you will continue running as a day school.
Education Cabinet Secretary defends the closure of boarding section in 348 schools, terming them unsafe. And National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula chides members for absenteeism that has undermined their mandate. Welcome back. Now, our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mwaura. And remember, we would love to hear from you. You can send us your comments and even your story ideas on KBC Channel 1, on Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram. And you could also send me a message on the same social media pages on Cynthia Nyamai. Now, President William Ruto has assured that the Social Health Authority will be free of corruption to ensure Kenyans get value for their money. Speaking in Kilifi, Ruto said SHA had been properly organized to eradicate corruption that had crippled the defunct National Hospital Fund. He also dismissed claims of fraudulent procurement of the National Equipment Services Program, from which counties will buy hospital kits.
I want to assure the country that the challenges of fraud and corruption that had bedeviled the NHIF, they will never be, as so long as I am in charge, they will never be in our universal health coverage plan. We must make sure that Kenyans get the benefit and value for every cent they spend on everything, including in matters health. There was a procurement process. It was carried out between the counties and the national and the Ministry of Health. There is no obligation on any county to get any equipment from any supplier.
The government is deliberate in its prioritization of health reforms and is putting up proper interventions to address and increase its accessibility and affordability to all citizens. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, in defending Taifa Care, noted that the teething challenges being witnessed in the transition process are being resolved, and new ideas and proposals to improve the rollout and its implementation are being considered.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says that the transition to Taifa Care is an integral part of the government's pursuit of delivering quality health care for all Kenyans and is a key pillar of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
The transition into Taifa Care, reforms in the medical logistics supply chain, investments in locally manufactured vaccines and medicine, focus on community health through the community health promoters, and the expansion and facilitation of training capabilities, among other interventions.
Kindiki, who was presiding over the 93rd Kenya Medical Training College graduation ceremony at the Kasarani Sports Complex in Nairobi, noted that quality and affordable healthcare is the foundation for a dynamic, prosperous, and productive country.
These reforms are not random or coincidental. They deliberately recognize that the investments will also result in secondary benefits within communities, such as an increase in equity, employment.
The DP, who was accompanied by Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Mulongo and Principal Secretaries, among other leaders, added that the government will continue creating job opportunities ready to absorb graduates, as well as exploring partnerships abroad for international labor mobility.
And when I look at the people ahead of you, I see the future of our country. I see the future of the medical profession, and I see hope that this country has a bright future.
I urge you to embrace innovation, whether through telemedicine, digital health records, or other technologies to meet the evolving needs of our healthcare system.
21,261 graduates from Kenya Medical Training College graduated today. Hopincho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has defended the government's decision to convert 348 boarding schools to day schools. Appearing before the Senate's Education Committee, the Education CS said the boarding status for the affected schools would only be restored when they comply with government regulations. The Ministry of Education is expected to conduct a second round of assessment of dormitory safety in all schools in January.
Barely a fortnight after the Education Ministry ordered the conversion of 348 boarding schools to day schools, the Senate's Education Committee invited Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba over the matter. The Education CS defended the decision, saying the government will remain firm until schools comply with required safety guidelines.
It's not that the officers closed these schools arbitrarily, those sections, and it's not the whole school that has been closed. So where somebody has done their bit, we are advising them that now you can proceed. But it is not possible for us to say that where we have gone and found that you do not meet, because of public outcry, we allow you to run a boarding section that we know does not meet the safety standards. That one, as a ministry, we are not going to do.
The orders to convert the 348 boarding schools to day schools came following a national assessment of dormitory safety as per President William Ruto's directives. CS Ogamba indicating the ministry will conduct a second round of assessment starting January.
There is a safety manual that each boarding school is supposed to adhere to, and this is the manual that was used to audit whether they met the requirements, and those ones that did not meet were the ones that were informed individually by report that if you do not rectify, you will not open in January as a boarding, you will continue running as a day school.
This as members of the National Assembly questioned the ministry's plan to manage the transfer of affected pupils and students.
Mr. Speaker, I would request that you order that the ministry gives us an appropriate answer detailing plans on how to manage, transition the children who are in those schools. Noting that, Mr. Speaker, a child who is registered on NEMIS in one school cannot be easily transferred to another school, especially if he's after grade 4.
President William Ruto directed a national assessment of school safety in September following the tragic fire incident at Hillside and Darasha Academy in Nyeri County. Gishoki Washira, Prime Edition.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, has put members on the spot over frequent absenteeism, which he says has greatly affected House business. A section of lawmakers lamented that critical pieces of legislation they sponsored have failed to progress, raising concerns over the efficiency of the House in fulfilling its legislative mandate.
The National Assembly commences its end-of-year recess. Several members of Parliament have expressed frustrations over the lapse of their bills. Among the affected MPs are those whose bills have been scheduled for debate but failed to move forward due to quorum hitches.
Just because the budget has not sat, they are too busy. And if you look at the queue, Honorable Speaker, they take 3 months to give you a report. 3 months to give you a report on an amendment of 4 or 5 lines. Honorable Speaker, I think you can determine that without having to take everything to budget.
Don't harass me. I need to have a child, and I need to have a child now, and I need a law to enable me to have a child. And all women who don't have children, stop filibustering on my bill.
We must get our responses within a framework of a time, but not to keep the answer until the purpose of the question does not meet the necessary response.
As I stand here, I have a bill that was referred to the committee probably around May, and up to now, I've never been invited to be listened to so that I can prosecute my bill so that I can move to the next stage.
I think the delay is more in the processing. I have 3 bills. They have to go through budget committee. Then they have to proceed to the departmental committees, and it's taking forever. Did I get the opportunity to appear 2 weeks ago before the budget committee, and then they are on one bill, and they've been there for 3-4 months. I think there's more issues at the back end of the office than when we publish the bills. That's where we really need help.
The recurring issue has previously drawn criticism from Speaker Moses Wetangula, who has accused members of Parliament of neglecting their responsibilities.
I know that we have not done exemplarily well with members' bills, private members' bills, for the reason that many of you who have bills don't turn up to prosecute your bills. So the fault lies squarely with us members.
In the past sessions, Speaker Wetangula has reminded members of Parliament of their obligation to be present during sittings.
From next session, I'll give clear direction on how long a bill should stay in any committee.
Members have been very resilient, and I want to thank all of them, but urge all of us that in the new year, let us come with new energy so that we also treat the business of the House with the dignity that deserves and on time, Honorable Speaker.
According to the provisions of the House Standing Orders, a lapsed bill must wait for 6 months to be reintroduced on the floor. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mongai.
Parliament has adjourned its regular sittings for the 3rd session ahead of its long recess, beginning 6th of December to February 11th, 2025. Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriot hailed the Senate's commitment to concluding crucial bills such as the coffee, tea and sugar bills, which will greatly benefit the farmers at the counties, as well as the Elections Amendment Bill. Senators, however, raised concern over the issue of accumulation of pending bills, which they say leads to the absorption rate of monies at the counties.
We have debated, Madam Speaker, handled matters of grave national importance with such decorum and admiration that made many citizens appreciate the wisdom that brings together this House. Madam Speaker, we have considered so many bills that are people-centric, institution-sensitive, Madam Speaker, like the bill to give autonomy to county assemblies, which is now before the National Assembly. We've handled the tea amendment bill, coffee, sugar bill, Mr. Speaker, for our farmers. Madam Speaker, there is just so much that we've done that today, as I retire to bed, I retire a very proud majority leader.
If we don't deal with this issue of pending bills, we're just going to be wasting our time. We're going to be digging a bigger hole and a bigger hole. The Controller of Budget has made her statement that there are certain counties that have been rated high in terms of the development absorption. But if you go to those counties and we sit in Public Accounts Committee and PIC Committee, you will realize that the amount of pending bills is serious, and it is something which will bring this country into a halt. People have killed themselves. Let us make it a priority in the next coming session that we follow the implementation. And this is why, Madam Speaker, I keep insisting that we need an implementation committee to be able to follow through.
The Kenya Revenue Authority will leverage on the ongoing public awareness campaign on the electronic tax invoice management system to seal revenue leakages by ensuring compliance through the Jinais na Receipt Legit campaign. The taxman seeks to encourage businesses to onboard their services on the teams, consequently bagging additional revenue from non-compliant entities. The campaign, being conducted in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, was in Kisii County in its second day of the second leg of the Western Region campaign. The campaign heads to Kisumu on Friday before concluding the Western tour in Siaya County on Saturday.
The way we had said that the campaign is mostly to encourage the receipt-asking culture by anyone who shops, like Kenyans. So we have seen there's an increase in compliance on e-teams and teams. And with this, it will increase revenue collection at the long run. Yes.
Is that okay? Well, it is time for our first break, but when we come back, skills of justice and much more.
All right, listen up. Quality is on a mission. It makes our gums healthy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Christmas ni sahi ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kweli? Hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mbuzi moja? Na mbuzi. 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Na mbuzi moja? Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Na mbuzi mbili. Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao. Nani kubwa Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
Wewe bro, nipatie hiyo receipt ya e-teams. Wazi.
Cheki, mimi sina ado hizo
Excuse, niletee receipt yangu ya e-teams. Asante.
Ni pesa ngapi? 3,000.
Hebu nisaidie na ile receipt ya e-teams.
Nimeshinda mil. I'm the latest millionaire. Marry me, baby.
Yes! Guys, nimeshinda laptop. Nimeshinda TV 50 inches.
Jinais na Receipt Legit promotion kutoka KRA. Download Receipt Legit app, scan QR code kwenye receipt yako, ujishindie zawadi kem kila wiki. Kuna grand prize ya milioni 3 kwa washindi wa 3 milioni.
Welcome back. The National Transport and Safety Authority, Kenya Bureau of Standards, Kenya Accreditation Service, and the Competition Authority came under fire under the designation of the Kenya Association of the Bus Manufacturers as a conformity assessment provider. The agencies, which appeared before the Senate Standing Roads Committee, were tasked to explain which law allows such a situation where the Kenya Association of Manufacturers has been been manufacturing buses and still being the same body accessing the standard of buses. Producers, KEBS and also CA said that this process is done under the international law, but they could not substantiate how it's applicable. The legislators expressed their worry about road safety for the public, especially during this festive period, even as they called for immediate action to save lives. However, NTSA boss failed to show up for the meeting and has been summoned to appear before the committee together with other stakeholders soon to respond to the concerns raised.
Competition Authority, you see in your conclusion, because of your response, conclusion of saying there is no violation of any law. But if you check section 21(1), you really notice that what you have done, you are doing is violation of the law because of this unfair competition. And therefore, we should invite all the stakeholders and pluck out type B and C. For the time being, let's see what can happen when we have several, when an associates accredit several, because maybe you cannot do the work alone.
Why can't we begin a process of regulation, but the first port of call would be to ensure that you cannot, not in this country, you cannot manufacture a bus and assess it for compliance. That you cannot. You have to choose what you want to do. Do you want to be a manufacturer or you want to be an accreditor? And just decide what you want to do.
Former Internal Security Permanent Secretary Davy Mwangi was on Thursday granted a 20 million shilling bond or a 5 million shilling cash bill and a surety of a similar amount in a land fraud case. He had denied Hasmachi Patel of the 1.59 hectare piece of land along Mombasa Road.
Appearing before Milimani Principal Magistrate Ben Makehubi, former Internal Security Permanent Secretary Dave Mwangi was charged with forging the signatures of former land commissioners Sami Mwita and Jen Kanja on the grant letter of the disputed 1.59 hectares piece of land along Mombasa Road.
On a non-date and placed within the Republic of Kenya, jointly with others not before court, with the intent to defraud, conspire to defraud Hasmita Patel, TL, Holloway Properties Limited, of a parcel of land.
He was also charged with conspiracy to commit a felony, obtaining money by false pretense and fraudulently presenting the forged land grant at the Directorate of Criminal Investigation Headquarters during an investigation into land fraud allegations on December 18, 2023. Mwangi, however, denied the 5 charges and sought to be released on lenient bond terms, promising to comply with all conditions set by the court.
As you deliberate on the exercise of your discretion, that you do not impose heavy bond terms that would otherwise lead to the accused person being detained for inability to comply.
Magistrate Hubi ordered Mwangi to be freed on a 20 million shilling bond or a deposit of a 5 million shilling cash bail.
In effect, I'll grant the following bond terms to the accused person. So I'll admit the accused person to a bond of Kenya shillings 20 million with a surety of a similar amount. Also, to the alternative, I'll grant a cash bail of 5 million. He'll avail 2 contact persons.
The case will be mentioned on January 20th, 2025 for pre-trial. Martini Maslin for Prime Edition.
Kenya Utalii College held its 48th graduation ceremony today, where over 700 students graduated, marking a significant milestone in the training of professionals for the hospitality industry.
The college is set to undergo a major transformation to increase its capacity and enhance training for the hospitality industry.
We, of course, require more space in terms of infrastructure. And as a result, as a ministry, we were able to allocate this college money, which they have already utilized to construct individual training kitchen.
Meanwhile, county officials are being sensitized on how to improve service delivery.
Kenya Devolution Support Program 2 aims to strengthen our institution, improve on our accountability, and also look at issues around our HR matters.
Elsewhere, Siaya Women Representative Dr. Christine Ombaka is urging the government to give schools facing closure over poor boarding facilities more time to improve.
I don't think it will be wise to close them straight away like that. What is important is to ensure that those schools construct proper dormitories the way it is required.
Still in Siaya, Governor James Orengo has called for disease burden to be a key factor in the division of revenue between the national and county governments.
And we have asked in the division of revenue between the national government and counties, and more particularly between counties horizontally, that the basis of the division of revenue should include the parameter of the disease burden.
The government is turning to nature-based groundwater recharge solutions to improve water retention, says Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Engineer Eric Muuga.
Our resource, that is water, is dependent on well-maintained and conserved catchments. When we plant trees, we slow down the surface runoff and give that water time to seep into the ground and recharge our aquifers.
Finally, for the first time in generations, many members of the Kalenjin community have returned to their ancestral land in Kapsokoni, Mount Elgon, to celebrate their shared history.
Tumefurahia sana kuona ya kwamba tumerudi mahali tumeanzia maisha yetu.
For Prime Edition, I'm Rodney Mbu.
Welcome back. It's now time for business. The much-awaited Kenya-Tanzania Interconnection Power Project will be commissioned in March 2025 after months of delays and cost overruns. The 510-kilometer high-voltage power line seeks to stabilize power distribution and reliability between the two countries. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says the multi-billion shilling power project will enable Kenya and Tanzania to increase energy trade while allowing the purchasing of power from Ethiopia through the regional power interconnectivity system.
Kenya and Tanzania announced plans to construct an energy connection system to enable the trade of energy between the two countries. The project, financed by the African Development Bank, was to be completed by the year 2022. However, the project has faced delays and cost overruns as two countries deferred over the tariffs to be applied. Since December 2023, the project has been idle awaiting official commissioning. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi now says Nairobi and Dar es Salaam have agreed on the energy tariffs, with the system expected to go live in March 2025.
We have also signed the requisite agreements with Tanzania, concerning that transmission line and including the power exchange between the two countries. So we are essentially just tying some few loose ends.
The Kenya-Tanzania power line is designed to foster regional cooperation and economic growth, with the initiative being part of the Africa Union's vision to build a unified power market that can distribute electricity more efficiently across the continent.
The country, that is Kenya, has positioned itself to both export of surplus electricity and import of cleaner, cost-effective power from neighboring countries, hence strengthening the country's energy resilience while boosting regional integration. As a matter of fact, now electricity becomes a diplomatic tool. Electricity becomes a tool of diplomacy.
The project is part of the broader efforts to integrate the Eastern Africa power pool and address the growing energy demands in the region. Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Kenya is betting on new seed technology to boost rice production. The new technology, known as direct seeding in rice production, has been introduced by International Rice Research Institute here in Kenya, where 95% of rice is grown under irrigation. Under the new system, rice seed is sown and sprouted directly in the field, eliminating the laborious process of transplanting seedlings by hand.
The direct seeding technology is a method that replaces the traditional transplanting system with a more efficient approach that involves sowing rice seeds directly into the soil. According to experts, the technology offers a range of benefits, including less water usage, reduced production cost, and minimal labor.
Direct seeded technology, whereby farmers directly seed the seed instead of nursery establishment, embraced. We are going to see improved production for rice.
The National Irrigation Authority says the new technology improves rice production by more than 20%.
Hope that in the future our farmers are going to adopt this technology, and we hope that economically they are going to increase their yield.
Also train farmers on the post-harvest handling management, ensuring that they harvest their rice at a right stage of maturity.
Speaking during a field day event to demonstrate the usage of the direct seeding technology, officials from Cereal Growers Association and the National Irrigation Authority say this technology will boost rice production in the country, cutting Kenya's reliance on imported rice from Pakistan and China.
We are actually saying that this technology will actually be seeded within our research fields here, but is expected to actually spread to all the farmers, not only within our irrigation research scheme, but we also expect it to spread its tentacles within all the parts of the country.
During the field day, the farmers who were guided through practical demonstrations on how to implement the method effectively expressed optimism about the potential benefits, including improved productivity and profitability.
As a farmer, I'm very much pleased because I'll have very easy time in my field, very less time, very improved yield, and I will become a millionaire in shorter time come.
However, despite the immense advantages that comes with the new technology, it is yet to gain acceptance in Asia and Africa due to the high number of seeds needed and the inputs needed to realize good yields.
As rice farmers here at the Ahero Rice Irrigation Scheme embrace direct seeding technology, they are not only reducing on cost of production and also usage of water, they are also taking a bold step towards climate-smart agriculture. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 News from Ahero, Kisumu County, my name is Joseph Wahungu.
Thank you, Joseph, for that report. Now, if you are a pensioner, then you have until the end of February 2025 to register the new pensioner self-registration portal or face suspension from the payroll. National Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kipto says the government is looking to eliminate inefficiencies in processing claims as part of a new end-to-end enterprise resource planning system.
The National Treasury indicates that Kenya holds about 2 trillion shillings in assets in the pension sector, with only 26% of Kenyans enjoying pensions. The government says that these numbers can improve if efficiency and reliability are improved through technology in the pension subsector.
This to us is a milestone that symbolizes the commitment that we have to the broader goal. And it's a goal we expect to deliver by 31st of March next year.
The launch of the new e-registration portal, which is a module of an overall proposed e-pension system, is targeting pensioners who have especially been registering challenges such as loss of records or incorrect pension balances, among others.
We are giving all pensioners to complete their registration on the portal by 28th February 2025. This deadline is not negotiable, and it will serve as a vital step in our efforts to modernize and streamline pension administration. Kindly note that any pensioner who does not complete their registration by the specified date will face suspension from the payroll.
For the 2022-2023 financial year, Treasury planned to process 28,422 claims, but finished the year with only 18,640 applications. This indicates a drop in the number of files processed due to slow payments of claims.
The same thing for the pensioners. We want you to get, when you are paid, you get to know you have been paid. And then you can transact from wherever you are. I don't want to see people coming to queue here.
The government has also developed a new system that will increase the number of Kenyans in the formal pension system by targeting the informal sector.
This is why also we have another initiative called the K-Nest that we want to reach. The hustlers. And on Monday, His Excellency the President will be launching. We will be having the second anniversary of the Hustler Fund, and we will also be launching. The K-Nest formally.
Alanako, Prime Edition.
Business and economic activities in Kilifi County have received a major boost following the designation of the Vipingo Ridge as a special economic zone. President William Ruto has awarded the certificate to the Vipingo Ridge Development Limited. The 2,000-acre project is a mixed-use development project which is expected to boost the economic fortunes of the coastal county. The government is banking on the economic zones to spur development in the coastal region.
With construction scheduled to begin early 2025, the Vipingo Free Trade Zone is set to host over 200 industries across key sectors, including agro-processing, manufacturing, IT, logistics, green energy and pharmaceuticals.
Great friends of Kenya, I am confident about their investment potential and capacity to turn around the space we have in this rare Vipingo area as a special economic zone facility.
Once operational, it is expected to create 50,000 jobs over the next decade, offering fiscal incentives, including sustainable energy solutions and state-of-the-art infrastructure, empowering SMEs, fostering local supply chains, and advancing Kenya's industrialization.
If we want to see the transformation that we want, we must allow land in Kayafungo to be made a special economic zone. That is how we are going to create the jobs of the future. That is where we are going to create the economy of the future and the wealth of the future.
President Ruto is further calling on investors to increase their investment portfolio to include tourism activities. In the recent months, hospitality industry players in Kilifi have undertaken a series of upgrades to their facilities in efforts geared at increasing their market share in the global tourism market. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Enhancing international diplomacy is the topic that we have for you. Brian Kimani is on the other side of the studio, coming up shortly.
I've been to Dubai, China, and now off to the US. Courtesy of eCitizen, I managed to get my passport just in time for my first conference abroad. Even you guys can get it. Link up with eCitizen. Service below stress. Service below stress. eCitizen. Service below stress.
Have a complaint, or is something just not adding up with your pension scheme? It's easy to file a complaint directly with the Retirement Benefits Authority, and it's absolutely free. Just visit www.complaints.rba.go.ke and follow the prompts to file your complaint. RBA will acknowledge your complaint within 7 working days. Your complaint will be reviewed and addressed within 30 working days. Your time and peace of mind are important, and anyone dissatisfied with a decision of RBA can appeal to the Independent Retirement Benefits Appeals Tribunal. RBA is here to listen and resolve your complaint promptly because your retirement should be stress-free. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800 720 300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Welcome back. Now I see your Brian Kimani on the other side of the studio. He's ready for you. But first, let's catch up with Tech One, where upcoming Kenyan welders are turning to virtual reality or VR technology to gain skills in advanced welding techniques. And tonight on Tech One, we visit trainees of the future gaining skills in international welding practices as tutored by virtual instructors, coaching through augmented reality.
Cynthia Njoroge is an upcoming professional welder at Toolkit, a digital social enterprise training in technical skills and welding, or what is commonly known as Jua Kali. But Wamboi tells us this is not typical Jua Kali because the use of virtual reality has enhanced her grasp of welding techniques and has also debunked myths related to blending learning programs that are complemented by technology.
With time, it's not that hard. It's easy. As you go, as you continue practicing, it's so much easy. You gain your muscle memory. So the moment when you come, you join the workshop, you are able to maintain your memory and also the stability during welding. When you start with the VR, it's much easier when you come to the workshop.
Wamboi is not alone. Her colleague Peter Kuria Mungai cites time and unique upskilling as the reason for choosing VR in welding.
I started with virtual reality, where we are engaged in a controlled stimulated environment, the same as a workshop, but it's in a controlled stimulated environment, where I gained a skill in virtual reality, and I really passed. I had a pass mark of 89.
The learning experience begins here, using a wearable headset, a unique handheld controller customized to mimic a welding gun. The controller has a series of buttons which helps the user select options in the virtual world, while the headsets act as the wearer's eyes in this digital reality. These devices take you to a virtual world safely projected on computers, which display what the VR wearer of the devices sees and controls in the virtual world.
So as you can see on your screen, he's welding. So you are able to select the required sample. You adjust the parameters, you set the parameters, you set the current, you set the gas. Like I've said, MIG welding entails the use of gas. So once he or she is ready to weld virtually, there are all the welding specifications that are required. This one will give you the experience of the real MIG welding gun. Yes, the weight of the gun. Okay, so this one acts as a counterweight.
However, as groundbreaking as it may be, there are still major issues to consider.
The biggest challenge and the call for first to the government is model the curriculum for assessment to be able to catch higher levels such that our trainees are qualified internationally.
The appeal for these tools in various needs seem not to be waning as technology continues to make work easier. Virtual reality environments like the ones you've seen here for welding safeguard against a lot of costs overruns, especially when it comes to safety and the overall cost of programs like this. And now experts say that this can be replicated in other industries like this one. Alan Oko, Tech One.
Well, always get ready for a dose of technology right here every Thursday on KBC Channel 1 with, of course, Alan. Time now to shift focus and have a conversation around enhancing Kenya's diplomatic phase. Bearing in mind that Kenya has one of the biggest diplomatic force here in Africa. And of course, because of the United Nations and of course many other UN agencies, then you realize that as a country, we have a huge diplomatic force. And so joining us this evening, we just want to have a conversation around how to enhance Kenya's international diplomacy through the Kenya Foreign Service Academy. Remember, tomorrow it is transitioning into a state agency. It is going to be the first a state agency under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And guess who is joining us? He's the Director General. This is Paul Dongo. He's the Director at the Foreign Service Academy. He's joining us tonight. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, give us a brief history of the Kenya Foreign Service Academy.
Thank you, Brian, for having me, and I am excited that we have come a long way, and finally we are here preparing to launch the Foreign Service Academy of Kenya as a state corporation. This academy has come a long way. Beginning in the year 2006, when the government, or rather the cabinet, issued a memorandum authorizing the establishment of the Foreign Service Institute as a state corporation under Chapter 446 of the laws of Kenya. But since then, we were able to set up the Foreign Service Institute, but not really as a state corporation. We began it as a department of the ministry based in KICC.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it was never able to transition into a state corporation, the academy has done a lot of work since then. We have trained all the different cohorts of diplomats who have joined the ministry since then. We have trained them for their promotion. We have trained them in critical skills, including communication, negotiations, trade negotiations, mediation, and many others. We have even been able to train diplomats from friendly countries upon request, which of course made us so proud because we were able then to contribute to their own capacity in their countries, especially those who are coming from difficult situations. And we went in that spirit until the year 2021. When we had a new Act of Parliament known as the Foreign Service Act, Cap 185E of the laws of Kenya. And in that act, the act required the Foreign Service Ministry to establish the Foreign Service Academy as a state corporation. And since then, we have been on the job trying to set it up. Recently, we had a council which was established in August this year. And since then, we have begun working on the instruments for it to stand as a corporation. And we are very excited that tomorrow we'll be
this journey is coming to an end.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. I also know you see it very well in Kenya's foreign policy, which is a guiding document on how Kenya interacts with the international community. Yes. Tell us, what will be different once you become a state corporation from the Kenya Foreign Service Academy?
Well, as a state corporation, the Kenya Foreign Service Academy will have its work cut out. Because it's now being told that you've got to do more than you have been doing.
Yeah.
It means we have to do more in terms of not only training the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also training the staff from the wider public service. As you know, today's diplomacy is different from diplomacy of old. because you find that one may be in the Ministry of Environment, but they're already interacting and negotiating with people elsewhere, from other governments, from other agencies, non-state actors. And with this kind of very rapid mode of diplomatic engagement, then you find there's a need that anybody who enters into that space gets some good amount of grounding in foreign policy, in diplomacy, in international law, in international economic relations, and so on and so forth. So our work is cut out. We have a lot of work to do. We have to raise the resources required for that job, and we are looking forward to the task ahead. Thank you.
You see, when you look at the world today, I mean, it's going through a major diplomatic shift. I mean, we're almost getting back into the era of, the Cold Era, and it's becoming very difficult, for countries, to navigate, through this system. What would be the role of the agency in giving the country the direction to take in terms of international diplomacy?
Thank you very much, Brian. And that is precisely why the Academy is being set up as a state corporation. That is why it is being revamped in terms of its capacity to offer the services. Now, you have talked about the evolving nature of the international landscape. Let me first of all put a disclaimer there by saying that since the beginning of recorded history, the international space has always been very,
fluid.
Yeah, there's a lot of change. In fact, the only thing that is certain is change in the international space. Despite what I've just said, then there's also the realization that today, because of technology, because of the fourth industrial revolution, then you find that the changes are much faster. And for us to have diplomats who can be able to easily transition and easily have impact and easily keep in step with what's going on, then you require training. Part of what we are looking at is being able to put more effort in digital diplomacy.
Digital diplomacy.
Diplomacy, yes. Because you can no longer wait for people to send you reports by a diplomatic bag. It's now something which is not as effective or efficient. So you need diplomats who are able to engage on the digital space. We need people who can specialize in issues of cybersecurity, because those are areas where we need to negotiate with partners, with coalitions, for us to make the cyberspace safer for everybody. Because as you know, now the Internet of Things is the engine that drives the international economy, that drives technology, that drives industry, and so on and so forth. So you need people who are able to comfortably negotiate in that space. So there are many other areas which are evolving. There's the whole area of health diplomacy. You saw what happened in 2020 with the COVID-19, where for the first time we realized that we needed specialists to be discussing diplomacy in the area of health. You see? Now, there are many other areas which are coming up. The AI.
Including environmental diplomacy.
AI. Issues of AI. Yeah, environmental diplomacy is a big thing now. In fact, environmental diplomacy is about our survival as a nation, as a people. So we need all this kind of training to be impactful, for us to remain competitive, and for us to steady our growth as an economy and as a nation.
I mean, the world just held the Conference of Parties, or what we call the COP29, whereby, thousands of delegates, came together to negotiate and discuss the future of climate in the world. And I could see, I attended in Azerbaijan, Baku, and I could see, more than 20 Kenyans, who are part of the Kenyan delegation, engaging with other people just to strike that climate deal. And so when you look at the evolving phase of diplomacy, how is the academy changing with the time to ensure that you give to the world qualified and fully baked diplomats from Kenya?
Thank you very much, and really that is why we are there. And basically what we do is keeping up with the trends, keeping up with the issues, and keeping up with the challenges. One way that we're able to offer that kind of training is through collaboration with the experts in the field from different areas. The other way that we're able to do that is through organizing training online. We organize training online where we have experts being able to speak to our participants from everywhere. Because thanks to technology, we do not have to go into a class for us to train. But more than that is a policy that we are adopting, that we've got to keep training our diplomats wherever they are. Wherever they are stationed abroad, that they are not only working, but they're also getting training. And what we are planning moving forward is to increase the number of sessions we can be able to offer online.
I know as an institute, you are based at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. You are now going to be a saga domiciled at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I know you've been conducting your training sessions, in hotels and boardrooms. Are you looking at establishing your own academy whereby, you shall be conducting your own, the training in-house?
Yeah, that's our vision. We are working on that vision. Hopefully in the next 5 years, we hope to acquire property where we can begin developing the physical headquarters of our training institution. But in the meantime, we are based on 316 Upper Hill Chambers. We occupy the 15th floor, and there we have training rooms, seminar rooms, and boardrooms in which we conduct training. And from that center, we are able to train our diplomats from all over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I also would want to understand, so where is the position of Kenya Foreign Service Academy in the government agenda of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda?
The bottom-up economic transformation agenda is one of the documents that informs our strategic plan. What we are doing in our training is to make sure that our diplomats are agile, they are flexible, and they are alert to opportunities for us to empower the youth, to empower small-scale industry, to empower young artisans, through getting them opportunities for capital, opportunities for them to export, opportunities for them to sell their skills. One thing that many people may not realize, Brian, is that the kind of talent that we have in Kenya, all these talented young people who are able to produce apps and so on and so forth, if all of them are connected to the right markets, the whole issue of unemployment would decrease in severity. And when we train our diplomats, we ensure that they are alert to those needs and to the power that they have to change those lives through good diplomacy.
Through good diplomacy.
Yeah.
Balozi, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening and of course for sharing with us the vision and the mission of the Kenya Foreign Service Academy.
Thank you for having me.
You can be guaranteed that we'll continue to have this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Nashukuru.
You know, Ambassador Paul Ndungu is the Director, Foreign Service Academy, joining us tonight here to help us understand where we are coming diplomatically and where we are definitely going. And if you have heard it from him that, you know, from tomorrow, the Foreign Service Academy is officially going to become a state corporation. O'Brien Kimani is my name. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Cynthia Nyamai continues with the business news, and thereafter we shall be having Wahome with sports news. Bye for now.
Star 570 hash. Option 1 kuna PS5 na ni full package na inakuja na JBL Party Box. Hiyo boom experience pia iko.
Hapana. Was there any acknowledgement? Then the rest walikuwa hapo, si?
Kwani nyinyi mnahusika na hii kesi?
Mtu akikuitisha hongo, tafadhali ripoti kwa ofisi za EACC na tuko na toll free number 1551.
Huyu anti-corruption.
Si anti wa corruption.
Huyu mzee hana huruma hata kwa watu kama. Mimi simulisema nikuje niongee.
Mnachukua hiyo nafasi mnaenda kulagai watu.
Kesi hii imekuja wakati mzuri kwa maana wiki ijayo tunasherehekea tarehe 9 Disemba, tunasherehekea International Anti-Corruption Day.
Na nyinyi vijana, wakati mwingine mkisikia kuna kazi imetangazwa na serikali, mfuate ile njia inatakikana. Unasikia?
Welcome back. Kenya's fight against malaria has gone digital, with technology coming in handy in the distribution of mosquito nets. The new platform, dubbed Digimol, is the first of its kind in the region, pioneered by Kenya. The distribution of the nets is being coordinated by the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA.
The Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign, which is funded by the Global Fund, so the 2022-2023 campaign utilized advanced digital tools to enhance efficiency, accountability and coverage. According to National Coordinator for the Mass Net Distribution Campaign, Patrick Burugu, Digimol system has streamlined operations and improved resource utilization, enabling real-time registration of beneficiaries.
Digimol system and the KEMSA WMS has helped the interface. The good interface between the two systems has helped us, because we know from KEMSA the quantity which is there at the different county stores. Then we're able to mop them.
KEMSA's Quality Assurance Manager, Dr. John Aduda, has underscored the vital role played by the community health promoters with the help of Digimol platform in ensuring the success of last mile distribution efforts.
And so far we've done, I think, an excellent job. We mopped the nets in Kisumu County, Nyamai County, and all the 4 counties in the coast. We have brought them, and we have done the last mile distribution in Nandi County. Right now we have just completed the Kipkile and West Sub-County in Kericho County.
But despite the widespread use of the digital platform, there are teething problems.
Each single net we have to account for, and each single net are going to be, if it's got a different batch, we have to enter it as a different item for each of these 4 counties in coast. They are received as per ward in those counties.
The officials, however, said the use of the digital platform provided valuable insights for future initiatives, with the government planning to further refine technology and innovations to improve network infrastructure in underserved areas. Martini Maslin for Prime Edition.
Private sector players have been urged to leverage technology to de-risk operations. According to research, human interactions contribute more than 50% of corrupt deals in the business ecosystem. Governance expert Fatma Lewis says lack of ethics characterized by mismanagement and corruption is hampering the growth of Kenya's business sector, derailing foreign direct investments.
A survey by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission indicates that Kenya loses an estimated 608 billion shillings, or 7.8% of the GDP annually to corruption, of which private sector lose an estimated 3 billion shillings daily.
Corruption takes away up to 20% of a business's income.
This is in comparison to 338 trillion shillings lost to corruption globally.
Unethical business practices, actually, they favor the bigger boys, but it's the smaller businesses that get affected. The business is losing, but so is the government. How is the government losing? Because people prefer to work without being formalized. People work without getting licenses. So we are in this together.
We also find that another problem with corruption is that it affects a company's brand. It makes customers, it makes businesses inefficient, and it makes it very difficult for young people to get into entrepreneurship, because if you know that you cannot get into a business because the environment is corrupt, you will not.
Stakeholders attending the Africa Business Ethics Conference in Nairobi are rooting for technology integration to reduce human interaction.
But that needs to be from end to end, so that there's no human interaction or interruption in the process. Also, we need to make sure that the way this digitalization is done, how it's procured transparently, honestly, so that people get value for money.
Further, governance experts are urging the private sector players to build business ethics capacity to enhance global competitiveness of Kenya's products and services. Fatima Elmawi says money lost through mismanagement and corruption could be redirected to investments aimed at creating jobs and promoting locally produced goods.
We need to make whistleblowing a beneficial thing to do. We need to make sure that people who whistleblow are protected, that their jobs are not at risk, because that is a problem, that people don't want to whistleblow, because if you whistleblow today, you lose your job.
But let me tell you, if you actually do your business ethically, research shows that you are able to grow by over 300% than the people who did not work ethically.
Currently, Kenya is ranked 126 out of 180 countries in the 2023 Transparency International Global Corruption Index.
Kisumu is rapidly emerging as a premier destination for conference tourism in Kenya. As the country's third largest city, Kisumu boasts of a unique blend of natural beauty and modern facilities, making it ideal for those seeking a productive work holiday. Tonight on Magical Scenes, we feature Kisumu and her share of conference tourism.
Nestled along the shores of the stunning Lake Victoria, Kisumu has seen a surge in investments aimed at enhancing its conference tourism infrastructure. With state-of-art conference centers, luxurious hotels, and a range of recreational activities, the city is well equipped to host both local and international conferences, workshops, and corporate retreats. Milimani area in Kisumu is among the diverse neighborhoods, standing out as a beacon of elegance and tranquility, suitable for a work holiday. The location's peaceful ambience makes it an ideal setting for meetings, allowing attendees to focus and rejuvenate away from the busy city life. Facilities here provide world-class accommodation complete with stunning views of the lake. Nevertheless, Milimani is not just about modernity. It also boasts of a rich cultural heritage. The community in Milimani is known for its hospitality, making the destination a welcoming place for newcomers and tourists. As Kisumu continues to develop its conference tourism sector, the future looks bright.
The weather here is, being Kisumu, is generally hot. But basically, because of the vegetation around here, we have a lot of trees and all this, so it neutralizes. So the weather is always mostly calm. And when it drizzles like this, it looks so calm and so nice. And as you mentioned, for the festive period, we are geared for it because we have got a number of things we are doing on 24th, 25th, and then 31st and 1st.
We look at the destinations around Kisumu, which can actually connect you to other areas like Kakamega, whereby you can be able to access the Kakamega forest. We have on our way, you use the boat rides to Mbita. And the fact that Kisumu also is a tropical town and it's affordable.
Whether you're planning a team building retreat or simply looking to combine work with leisure, Kisumu is seemingly promising of unforgettable memories. Mchuma Odim, magical sense in the county of Kisumu.
Kisumu clearly has a lot to offer. Now, Kenyan startups are set to benefit from a program that will see them equipped with artificial intelligence solutions in their business models. Microsoft Africa General Manager Gerald Maithia says AI tools can assist startups in overcoming challenges such as scaling solutions globally and accessing a broader customer base.
The 2024 AI for Africa report, published by the Global System for Mobile Communications Association, shows that agriculture and food security takes up 49% of all artificial intelligence deployments, followed by climate action and energy use cases at 26% and 24% respectively.
How do we leverage generative AI to scale up our African startups that are working on AI or are actually AI startups? And that's what we're looking forward to.
This comes as Microsoft, through the company's Africa Transformation Office, unveiled an initiative aimed at accelerating advancements in artificial intelligence and foster collaborations between startups and industry leaders. The initiative also marks the launch of a Microsoft strategic collaboration with tech company NVIDIA, aimed at accelerating AI startup development in Kenya and beyond.
Today's announcement and discussion was around how do we continue supporting startups with generative AI, which has become a big technology play and a huge platform change for Microsoft and most global companies.
Especially if it's a technology-based company, you see how you can host your infrastructure, how you can sort of leverage off other types of technology.
For us, how we're looking at AI and how we're leveraging it is we have this era where somebody has innovated a refrigerator and we have people who need to come up with the drinks that actually go into the refrigerator.
Kenya developed the National Digital Master Plan 2022-2032, which encourages the uptake of research and development in the AI industry and set out a strategy to increase AI capacity and regulation. Kenya is also collaborating on the Artificial Intelligence for All initiative as a step towards a national AI strategy. Alan Auko, Prime Edition.
The government is in the process of issuing title deeds for all government buildings in the wake of increased fraud using fake documents. Land Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says many government buildings lack this critical document, putting them at risk of being grabbed. The CS was speaking during the signing of the performance contract by principal secretaries in the Lands, Housing and Urban Development dockets.
In
2022, the Public Investment Committee reported that more than 90% of government lands do not have title deeds, putting them at risk of being grabbed. These include schools, major landmarks like Kenyatta International Convention Center, among others.
And we agreed that the State Department themselves and government agencies will have to look through and give us the data of their property, because they know their property, they know where the challenges are, and then seek for professional registration work or conveyance work for us to produce titles for them.
Most of them, of course, they have been attempted grabbing, and we are working with EACC. If you remember, I think this year, there was a presentation to the President by EACC on the parcels that had been actually recovered. So we are undertaking the process of recovery of any public land that had been grabbed.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says that the ministry is in the process of digitizing all lands transactions to curb fraud involving land deals.
Eradication of corruption is going to be my message at this particular signing ceremony, so that all the departments, the principal secretaries who are the accounting officers, must help me and the President to ensure that every shilling entrusted to the state departments is well spent.
Speaking during the signing of performance contracts by principal secretaries, Wahome says the ministry will double revenue collection in 2025 while sealing loopholes used by cartels to rob the public.
There are loopholes that people who want to raid on the public coffers use through maybe our departments, through people outside there. We will work together as a team to bring it down.
I want to assure you that we'll be able to work together. We'll cascade this to HODs with a view to achieving the targets that you signed with the President.
The CS says the signing of performance contract at the ministry level is aimed at enhancing accountability and check on the deliverables that contribute to the fulfillment of the government's agenda of service delivery. Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Mamlaka ya ukusanyaji ushuru nchini inakuletea kampeni ya umma ya G-Nice na Risiti Legit. Thibitisha risiti yako ukitumia app ya Risiti Legit, upate nafasi ya kuibuka mshindi wa zawadi kemkem kama vile shilingi milioni 1 pesa taslim, laptops, televisheni ya inchi 50, smartphones na zawadi zingine. Disemba tarehe 4, siku ya Jumatano, kutana na msafara wetu Homa Bay katika maeneo ya Oyugis, Rangwe, Rodi, Nthiwa, Sori, Kendu Bay, Homa Bay Town na Mbita. Alhamisi tarehe 5 Disemba tutakuwa Kisii, maeneo ya Kisii Town, Ogembo, Suneka, Kanyenya, Nyamache, Marani, Masimba na Keumbu. Pata app ya Risiti Legit kwa Google Play Store au App Store kwa maelezo ya kuingia katika mashindano ya Risiti Legit. G-Nice na Risiti Legit. KRA, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
This morning, which hall have you been living in, eh? I have been rich all my life. You know, we that we have money, we don't like showing off, eh?
Hey, Kimanzu and Julia, when did you get all these mandalas?
They are not mine yet, eh? But soon they will be mine. They belong to my husband, Kinyanjui.
My people, I can confirm without fear or favor or contradiction that this is pure gold. No additive, no impurity, just pure gold.
Very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. Now, the Kenya Parliamentary team to the 14th edition of the East African Community Interparliamentary Games is all set to leave for the coastal city of Mombasa tomorrow in readiness for the games, which are scheduled to start officially on Saturday through to the 18th of December. Now, the Bunge team has intensified their training in different venues as they aim for nothing short of a victorious outing in this year's edition against member teams from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and East Africa Legislative Assembly. They will take part in various sporting disciplines, which are football, athletics, volleyball, basketball, netball, and darts. For persons with disabilities, athletics, football, and tug of war, which will be held at the Mbaraki grounds, while basketball, netball, volleyball, and dart will be held at the Aga Khan and Tononoka grounds. Now, the Kenya Under-17 women's representatives and team did not make it to the top 5 shortlist for the 2024 CAF Awards. Mildred Cheche had been nominated for Coach of the Year award against the likes of Lamia Boumehdi of TP Mazembe and Ahmed Ramadan of FC Masri, while Mohamed Amin of FAR and Chris Danjuma of Nigeria and Tinasonke Mbuli of Western Cape University, who had made the final shortlist. The junior starlet striker Valerie Nekesa had been among the Young Player of the Year award nominees alongside Habiba Sabri of Egypt, Doha El Madani of Morocco, Lina Mukhtar of Morocco, Shiamaka Okuchuku of Nigeria, and Tabiseng Majia of South Africa. The team had also been nominated in the National Team of the Year award, where Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa had been nominated alongside Cameroon and Zambia. The 2024 CAF Awards will be staged on the 16th of December this year in Marrakesh, Morocco. Now, and veteran Samuel Njomo was at his very best to beat Kennedy Otieno in their lightweight category bouts in the main event of the Nairobi Fight Night December edition held last night in Westlands. Jane Kavulani overcame Susan Adeso in a closely contested featherweight bout, which was a first ever women's fight night at the Nairobi Fight Night.
In a battle of two greatest men in the boxing ring, veteran fighter Samuel Njomo's experience and composure earned him a split decision victory over his opponent Kennedy Otieno, solidifying his status as a standout in the Nairobi Fight Night series. In the first ever women's fight at the Nairobi Fight Night, Jane Kavulani overcame Susan Adeso in a closely contested bout, with the judges awarding Kavulani a split decision victory. Eric Mwangi set the tone for the night with an impressive performance, stopping Salim Odingo with a first-round TKO. In the second bout, Kenya Defence Forces Lawrence Okuta defeated Bruce Omondi with a decisive TKO. Dalmas Kialo defeated debutant Samuel Matthew in an exciting bantamweight bout on unanimous decision after 4 rounds. The co-main event saw Samuel Kogeluk beat Collins Nyakwaka also on unanimous decision.
Moving on to golf is where more than 100 women golfers are expected to compete in this weekend's Chairman Spotted tournament at the Vet Lab Golf Club, in one of the tournaments that will drive forward the club's agenda of funding development plans. The club is in the process of expanding its capacity to host 4 more other sporting disciplines.
Some of the greatest female golfers in the region will converge this weekend at the Vet Lab to compete in the Chairman's Puta tournament. The event is a platform for showcasing talent and potential of female golfers, as well as an opportunity to address the challenges they face. Discussions surrounding gender equality in sports, access to resources, and the need for greater representation in leadership roles will be at the forefront, encouraging stakeholders to invest in golfing.
We are doing well, because it is just the other day that the women were allowed even to play and to have their own association, the Kenya Ladies Golf Union. But I still believe that though it started as a very paternalistic kind of game, women have come up. And like this club, we have over 130 active golfers.
As Kenya prepares to host the landmark competition, the spotlight shines not only on the sport, but also on the remarkable women leading the charge in transforming the golfing landscape.
We have big plans for the future. As I've said, we hope to have more activities. We hope to have more facilities, and like tennis, bowling, and even table tennis. And we also hope to have a children's corner, because our hope is that this club can also be more family-oriented. And we can see a lot of excitement, especially with the juniors and the young parents that are joining our club.
The VetLab Sports Club tournament in Nairobi will symbolize the growing influence of women in a traditionally male-dominated arena and highlights the importance of female leadership in promoting sport and empowering future generations. With the roster featuring some of Kenya's most accomplished female golfers, the tournament serves as a powerful reminder of the strides women have made in the sport, both on and off the course.
Golf is a competition where there's no age limit, there is no gender, we don't choose who to play or who not to play. It is a game that we believe, even at my age, a senior can come and win. Therefore, it's a game that builds society. It builds people who would ordinarily not play any other game. And health-wise, it builds us. But more importantly is that we also give to the society in terms of our contributions.
Their leadership is crucial in breaking down barriers and fostering a culture of inclusivity within the sport.
Thank you, Bagley Odendo, for that story. Now, Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta has hailed his team following their 2-0 win over Manchester United in the English Premier League match played at the Emirates last night. Manchester City broke their 4-game losing streak as they overcame Nottingham Forest by 3-0 as leaders Liverpool were held to a 3-3 draw by Newcastle United. Chelsea hammered Southampton 5-1 in another match.
Mohamed Salah for Liverpool. Lovely dummy by Szoboszlai, Alexander-Arnold. Salah, yes! Guimaraes over the free kick.
And across the seas, where Real Madrid dropped 3 crucial points in their efforts to defend their La Liga title as they suffered a 2-1 defeat to Athletic Bilbao last night. Alex Berenguer gave the home side the lead minutes into the second half before Jude Bellingham's equalizer gave Carlo Ancelotti's side hope. But an 80th minute goal from Gorka Guretza clinched the win for Bilbao, who moved up to 4th in the Spanish top flight. And that's the sport for tonight. And what a weekend we've got coming up, and that's what we'll be previewing tomorrow. The East African Parliamentary Games, Shuja in Cape Town, and the CHEP site across country. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us. Back to Cynthia.
Thank you, Wahome. Now we come to the end of the bulletin. Joseph Asunde says he enjoyed the business segment, especially on the automating of pension and also boosting rice production. From me and the rest of the team, we would like to wish you a very good night.
Visa hii ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa.
Kweli?
Hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1.
Rudia.
Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings.
Na mbuzi moja?
Na mbuzi 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra.
Na mbuzi moja?
Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max.
Na mbuzi mbili.
Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao na ni kubwa hapa kuna ndogo